So welcome everybody in the room and on the live stream. This is going to be uploaded to YouTube after, so anyone can watch it anytime. This is the Project Queens Fundamentals of Commercial Real Estate Listings, class number 6, and it's going to be about marketing. Marketing is what we are hired for. So let's just get to it. A little story for the day is, aside from being a snowy Friday, a quick update and forget the story this week. This is going to be the last class for the next 2 weeks. Next Friday is, there you go, there's people. Next Friday is December 25th, Christmas. And the Friday after that happens to be New Year's Day. So no classes on either of those days, and we're going to start again on January 8th, the next Friday. Because this is marketing, I'm thinking maybe this will go to 2 classes, but maybe not. So if there's a big break in between, and on the 8th we forgot what we talked about on today, then again, there's always the YouTube class that you can go and join. So marketing. Marketing is what we are hired to do. As commercial real estate brokers, there's a couple of functions that we need to serve. And in a nutshell, it's when we get hired to market a listing for lease or for sale, the owner, they're choosing a broker that is going to be able to move their property, right? Obviously. So in choosing that, they want to look at the broker's resume to know that they did it before. And what does that show? That shows experience, that shows knowledge, and they want to hire you for that because they don't want you to mess up that transaction. That's very important. After that, you go meet them and give them market information. They want to know that you understand the value of the property, that you know the product, which is again experience, which is again the knowledge of the particular business or the craft. And again, it's the same thing, so that's important. After that, when you meet the client to sign listing agreements or to tour the property and take pictures and whatnot, they want to see that, like any sale, that you're personable, they like you. Sometimes that's important. Usually that's important. Sometimes they don't care. But you know, to get the deal done, they want you to, they want to like you. They want to like you enough to give you the business, right? That's not really that important. It is to get the business, but that's not why they're hiring you, right? And then after that, they want to see that, you can move the property. And how you move that is how much you can market it, how much money you're going to spend, how many people you know, and ultimately are you going to be able to close the deal. Part of that conversation may be how hardworking are you, and how aggressive are you, or have you done it before? And ultimately that all aims towards getting the deal done. Part of it is being professional while you're doing it. And what that does is save the owner from headache, right? They don't want you to be involved in this long transaction, which takes many months sometimes, and bombard them with questions or constantly forward them strange emails from weird people asking questions that you can easily answer. They want you to be able to move the transaction from A to B to close, right? But ultimately, if they had the person's phone number, they could just do it themselves, right? It's important to be professional. It's important for that to get business. But in terms of moving the product and getting paid, the owner could just do that themselves 99% of the time, right? What they are really, really looking for you to do is get that lead, right? Get that phone number. So How do we do that? In the previous classes, we discussed getting the listing and doing the research. So now we're just going to assume we have all of the property information. We have all of the terms that the owner wants, how much price, when it can move, can it be delivered vacant. We've gone to the property and we understand ourselves. What's the condition inside? Who do we think it's good for? We walked around the neighborhood. What's the transportation look like? Any notable tenants? Is it an up-and-coming neighborhood? And a description of what's going on, right? And we mix that all together in our heads and we say, for this price, this is an amazing deal. Someone should get it. Or what's usually the case is like, oh, damn, we're 20% overpriced. Let's see how we can move this, right? I think 9 out of my 10 listings, the owner wants to list it high, right? And it's always negotiable from there, particularly these days. But still, very few people start low. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know, you could start low. I think in residential, most people start high too. And if you were the seller of your own property, you would probably want to start high too. You know, there's cases to be said, like when the market is really hot and you start low and you get all the offers in and you do this bidding war and you pluck out the right one with the best credentials and it ends up being a good price. Usually, either way you go, it ends up being the same price. But in commercial right now and through my whole career, you know, very, very seldom are there like bidding wars, and it's not like the market isn't used to that kind of thing. So if you start low, a lot of the time the tenants, you know, they peg it there and they don't want to come up much more because it's like, what do you mean? Why would I pay so much more than you asked? So anyway, usually we start high. That's what happens. So what are the steps now of actually marketing this thing? I got my listing agreement for 6 months. I have all the information. I walked around the property. I looked at it. I analyzed it before I went to sleep to think who's the best tenants there or who's the buyer going to be. And I wake up in the morning, I'm sitting at my desk like, all right, now what? So the first thing we do is get access, right? So we want to make sure we could get into the building. Now, access comes in a number of forms. Sometimes you need to call the ownership to get in. Sometimes they give you a key. Sometimes there's a lockbox. Sometimes the tenant inside, you need to schedule with them. So you want to make sure you got your ducks in a row there. After access, then you need to start making your marketing material, right? So we have not started to even contact anybody yet because we have no information to forward them. So the marketing material is super important. What that consists of at Project Queens, and this will cover most of the bases, is go to the property, take a bunch of pictures. After you take the bunch of pictures, take a video. You may do some measurements, ceiling heights, frontage, and if you're going to put up a physical sign on the building, which in Queens, New York is super duper important, then you measure for where the sign is going to go. So I have a little pack that I carry. Every time I have a new listing, I carry this pack. It has all of my good devices in here that I need. So what do we got here? We have a DJI Osmo gimbal for the video to keep it steady, a laser measure to do ceiling heights and different dimensions, a tape measure in case the laser measure is not like really good for that particular situation, selfie stick, a flashlight. Really important, a strong LED flashlight, because a lot of the time the electric's out and you got to go in there. It's super creepy and you want to be able to access to wherever you got to go. And a Swiss Army knife, just in case, because Swiss Army knife is for just in case. I carry this with me. What happens all of the time, it took me 5 years to figure this out, is that inevitably, when I go do take the material for the marketing, I forget something. And I take this whole big trip to go over there. Sometimes I have to schedule people to go over there. I forget something. And when I come back and I'm filling everything out, I'm like, crap. So now it's in a bag. And even having the tools there, it reminds me what I need to do. I have a little checklist. It is good too. And at Project Queens, we have a CRM that you can access on your phone to remind you of what you need to do. So now you got your pictures, you got your video and all that stuff. You bring it home, you bring it to your computer. You can now go and start filling out a brochure. Hopefully you have a template, or you have an in-house graphics designer. Like at Project Queens, we have templates and an in-house project designer for you to give this information to. Sometimes we will just go and take the pictures ourselves. This is so agents, it's good to learn this stuff and do it a couple of times, but ultimately, if you're a killer agent, you don't want to be running around and doing graphics, right? You want to be an agent. You want to be getting listings. You want to be doing showings. You want to be negotiating offers. You want to be closing deals, making money, repeat. To have to go and take pictures is, that's all right because you got to go to the property anyway. But like to make a video, I learned how to make video recently just so I can figure out how to manage someone that's making video. But that stuff takes a long time. And then for me to make video right now, when I'm like going out to get biz, it is pretty inefficient. So now what all of this stuff goes to is step number one, the brochure, right? I wish I had these little like highlight things that pop up saying like brochure on the video. It snowed like crazy yesterday. So my graphics designer, said graphics designer is out right now. But we're going to work on that. We're going to make a little note to make these presentations cooler. But anyway, you put it in the brochure. Now the brochure is going to have pictures of the building, pictures of the neighborhood, pictures of all types of stuff. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull up a brochure. So let me share the screen. Bang, share. All right, so cool. So now we have a brochure up, and this is better than just my face talking to you the whole time. This is just my brochure. A lot of people do a one-pager, which is fine. I find that I enjoy doing a more complicated brochure, but not necessarily the big booklet that a lot of the bigger firms use, because every time I walk into an appointment, the owner has a stack of big booklets and they never even look at it. Like I erase all the fluff. I don't have time for fluff. I don't like fluff. And that's how I do it. So a cover page. This is Queens Crossing, one of the listings I'm listing right now. It's not the whole building. It's a space inside they were so kind to let me market for them. It's a very important listing to me because my office building is actually right here in the corner, and I could walk over there very easily. And it's a very important building in downtown Flushing. I'd love to get the deal done. So that's the cover page, and it usually has the address, because people want to know where the space is. I do a summary page, not really necessary, but my kid's doing summary pages in 3rd grade now, so I took the idea from 3rd graders and thought it was good to use in a professional setting. I talk about the neighborhood because the neighborhood's always very important, particularly in Queens and in commercial real estate. Talk about the building because I'm a commercial leasing broker. The units I move are usually within a larger building. That's how Queens operates. A lot of mixed use buildings, a lot of big buildings, particularly in downtowns. So I talk about how cool the building is, and then I talk about the space. Now over here, I didn't actually write about the space in particular. I feel like I didn't need to, but then it has all the terms that we discussed, like with the ownership, right? Some more pictures. I tried to always throw in a floor plan and then a contact us. This is an amazing space in Queens Crossing because the neighborhood is downtown Flushing. The building is Queens Crossing, the most important, well-recognized, and best located Class A building in the entire Flushing. And the space is 2,300 square feet. It's going for a great price of $19,000 per month. It's perfect for any retailer that wants to be in this high traffic space. So And if you want to go, if you know Queens Crossing, like here's the space relative to like the food court and the streets outside. If you have any questions, you could contact me over here. Boom. So I pitched you, and that's exactly what the brochure is supposed to do. If I got a lead for this because of this presentation, how awesome would that be? All right. Anyway, stop share. I'm back. So you make the brochure, and you know what? Let me share this one more time real quick because I just want to tell you, we were talking about taking the pictures. Here's the pictures we took. We took all of these pictures ourselves, right? And we threw them in here, right? This template is, you got to make a template. That's just, you know how to use a computer, then you do it. And another thing, maybe the hardest part of all of this is the copy. So you got to write all this stuff. And if you're not well written, you can make it simple. But I really enjoy writing the copy, not when I'm busy. So I hate writing the copy when I'm busy because it's got to sound good, and it's difficult to do if you can't just chill and sit and stuff. So in commercial real estate, like, we're salespeople, right? And who wants to be a salesman when they grow up? Like, nobody. So I've created my own little bubble in this world where through all my different interactions, right, I can explore and do the things that I love as hobbies within my work. And in that way, I can work super hard and try to make tons of money and at the same time not go insane. So here's a really cool book that I've been reading. And here's a share screen again. It's called On Writing, and it's by Stephen King, the man. I have it on Audible. And, this is a book for writers and people that want to write books, and it's like, it's not for a commercial real estate agent. But I use the things I learned here to like try to write good copy, my Facebook posts and stuff. And it's my my dumbed down version. I usually use much worse words than that, but we're going to try to keep it 2020 PC here. Dumbed down version of like enjoying writing. So I just a little side note over there, kind of trying to make work fun. Same thing with the video, same thing with the pictures. You want to be a photographer, you want to take pictures of like baby seals on the Arctic. Like, yeah, you can't do that because first of all, you're not a photographer. And second of all, you have no money to go to Alaska. But if your job is commercial real estate, you can try to take the best picture of the building you can and learn the angles, learn the lighting and all that stuff, and just make it fun, So anyway, I'm gonna get back to the class here. Okay, so you make the brochure, right? And then what Project Queens decided to do is make video, because video is the future. I'm doing this video right now because it's a video. And we're going to continue to evolve that. So we have video that shows the inside of the space, outside of the space, all that stuff. I'm not going to get like totally into that. So now you have, from the comfort of your own home or office, your brochure, your video. To do this, you got the listing, went to the space, took all this stuff, came home, worked on it for a night or two, and now you have it done. This is a process. It took like 3 or 4 days to get all this stuff done, and now you have it done. And you're going to close the deal now because you got offers. No, because nobody has even seen your work yet, right? You have to now take the brochure and shoot it out to the world. And this is probably what everyone wants to know. And the question is, how do we market listings? So you take your brochure. In commercial real estate, a couple of things. Number one, unfortunately, or fortunately, it depends how you look at it. You post it on LoopNet. Yes, every owner can post it on LoopNet themselves. Anybody could post on LoopNet anytime with some money, and you gotta post it there. Why? Because LoopNet is the Zillow of commercial real estate. If you were to list and try to sell a residential house or a residential rental, are you not going to put it on LoopNet? I mean, on Zillow or StreetEasy? Like, No way. I would never, ever, ever hire you to sell my house if you told me I'm going to put it everywhere except Zillow, right? It just doesn't make sense. So number one, LoopNet. Number two, doesn't matter. You just put on LoopNet. No, just kidding. There, everything else kind of drops off in importance the same way Zillow does. But what's important? We're gonna match this to residential. What's really important in residential? A lawn sign, right? Physical signage on the space so that people that are passing by that live in the area can see it. And in my experience in residential, let's say Zillow brings in 50%, 60%, the lawn sign brings in 10, 20%. It's important, right? So the physical signage on a commercial real estate building is super duper important as well. And the way you do that is very difficult in commercial real estate, because in residential, your broker is very used to a couple of things. You either freaking take the stake thing, hire a guy to plug it into the ground and put the sign up. You know, you grab it from the storage in your office and slap it up, put your rider on, and you're good, right? In commercial, you have to like make a big banner, and that banner needs to get bolted into the bricks, right? If you don't bolt it into the bricks, then you can. What Project Queens does is we get these like really custom decal window stickers, and it's one-time pop. So in residential, it may not be an expense, and in commercial, if you don't make it look nice, it doesn't have to be much of an expense either. At Project Queens, I drop anywhere from $200 to $1,000 a pop on signs. A big sign that I just did on one of my most important buildings. I mean, you're going to be super duper surprised to hear how much I spent on it, but I spent $5,000 on it. $5,000 on a sign is absolutely insane and ridiculous. But the listing, you know, is super important. The relationship is super important. It's a brand new development that deserved this kind of whatever I'm trying to say, exposure. And I want to share this with you too. So am I like sharing it still right now? Hold on. Okay, so I'm going to share this screen. So this is like a huge building on Queens Boulevard, and this sign is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like a bunch of different stickers combined. It's huge, and you know, it takes the installer time to come measure, and then they got to build it the right way, and they got to paste it on. Usually if I use my normal guy, it would have been less than that price, but it's my first time doing something with all these different size panels, and I was afraid it was going to come out like all staggered and like messed up. So rather than cheaping it out and messing it up, I'd rather pay and do it the right way. And as they're doing it, this is important because like costs are a thing in business, right? You can't just kind of throw your money all over the place like how I like to. But as I'm paying this ultra professional to do this, I'm inspecting the process as much as I can. I'm showing my graphics designer what they're doing so that in the next time we can do it ourselves and not have to necessarily drop so much money. And look, there's going to be situations where, you know, where we still have to hire this guy, right? It could be a big banner that you have to bolt in the building, but it's like all the way up here, and you need a boom, or you need to like hang from the thing over here with licenses and permits. So there's a time for expertise and you want to build your contacts up. So anyway, moving along, you have your Zillow / LoopNet type of thing. You have your signs, and then after that, you have the MLS, right, in residential, which is super duper important. And the equivalent of the MLS to LoopNet is something called to residential is something called CoStar. CoStar and LoopNet are actually the same company. So getting CoStar like doubles your cost. And CoStar kind of is what LoopNet shoots it out to the public, right? So everyone can just log into LoopNet. But CoStar is like an enclosed system for only the brokers. And why is that important? That's a good question, Michael Wang. Why is that important? It's because the way CoStar is structured is like you can search it better and make lists and stuff and have alerts, and other brokers use it. So the network effect of other brokers using it is important, um, particularly when you're working with non-local brokers and you want a national tenant or you want big players. The bigger firms and the people out in Manhattan, right? I'm in Queens, little Queens. You know, they use CoStar, so it's good. All right. So after that, there's a number of things that you can do and websites that you can do, and this really comes down to how um, how aggressive you want to be. I'm part of a bunch of different nonprofits, and they have websites of their own that go out to the public. Um, you can go on Craigslist. You can do a bunch of stuff. So, you know, we are really now getting into the uh, smaller percentage of importance type of things. So it's like just how much effort you want to put, or how much of a system have you built to be able to hit all these up, right? Now, another thing that's super duper important is what we're doing right now, right? Social media. If you're not on social media these days, like what are you doing exactly? Um, everyone knows they have to be on it, and I guarantee you every single listing pitch to an owner says, I'm going to put it on here, I'm going to put it on there, and I got this great social media presence. Every newbie agent is going to say that because they've had Facebook for a while, right? They have a LinkedIn account. They just made their Instagram. So yeah, we're going to put on social media. But that's complete fucking bullshit because you have no followers, right? No one's watching your stuff. So to really be effective on social media, you need a network. And part of having that network is doing it for a while and accumulating people, right? And there's other ways to do it aside from that, maybe sponsored ads. And I'm not going to dig down into like how to build a social media presence because there's plenty of people out there in the world that you can Google that are experts on this. And you know, social media is an evolving and new thing. I'm trying to hit up social media as much as I can and continue to evolve, just like by doing these classes, posting like crazy. I have my in-house graphics designer making the graphics better, and over time, you know, I keep adding every single person that friends me. I have like this weird sultan of some fake country. I added all these like fake pics of like hot chicks. I don't care. I had everybody, right? And I'm just blasting it, So there's Facebook, there's LinkedIn, which I love because LinkedIn is actually like, it seems like a more high quality network. And there's Instagram, which is just kind of like, I don't know, I like Instagram. And in the Chinese community, which is really important in Queens, is WeChat. So we build these circles constantly and constantly adding people. And when you're marketing real estate and adding people because of it, aside from all the spam, you actually have some people that are actual real estate people, and that network grows and grows and grows and grows and grows and over time. On top of, and that takes a long time, and it actually takes a lot of work. Like there's hours of days where I sat there like adding people from different stuff just to grow it, right? I'm trying to max out my contact list. After that, there's groups. In Facebook, there's groups. In LinkedIn, there's groups. It's groups to network more, great groups to ask questions or to just network. There's even groups to sell in Facebook where you sell something and then like, I mean, like 30 groups pop up and you just like kind of post it and then send it to everyone. I don't know how effective that is, but that's part of the social media game. You know, I have no, a lot of stuff I do, I have no idea, by the way. I just kind of run it and then the benefits come clear later on. But you want to put the work in, particularly with something like social media, because it's obvious how important it is, right? And I will tell you all my secrets, right? So I'm gonna screen share this real quick, and it's like, these are my Facebook groups, right? So that's my account, but in here it's like Chinese in New York, American-born Chinese, commercial real estate marketplace, Stuyvesant High School class of 2001. Shout out to Stuyvesant people. Subtle Asian traits. Okay. But all this stuff is like selling stuff, like Craigslist, you know what I mean? And that's just an example of groups. In LinkedIn, there's similar groups, and in WeChat, there's other groups. A lot of this stuff takes manual posting, and not only do you do it to sell property, but like, we're talking about marketing property, right? But part of marketing a property is also branding yourself, and branding yourself is super duper important. We're not going to talk about that. That's a later class. We're talking about marketing properties today, but like 50% is marketing property. That's our actual job. And as any business owner, you have to market your business, right? And these kind of things go hand in hand. As I'm marketing properties, I'm marketing myself, right? As I'm teaching this class, I'm trying to get people to join Project Queens because we give awesome splits, we give training, right? And I feel good just teaching for fun. I don't care, you know? But at the same time, I'm marketing myself. I'm showing all the clients, I'm showing all the agents that I really know what the fuck I'm talking about, right? And that I can give this knowledge away. And I'm showing like how kind I am and how honest I want to be, all that stuff, right? In social media, a lot of it is showing your personality, right? And if you think I'm if you think I'm an asshole, right? That's the nicest word I could say without people messaging me later like, you can't say those kind of words. Then don't hire me. That's cool, you know? But I'm going to show my personality, and the people that do, you know, think I'm okay, you know, that's a differentiating factor on who to hire to work on a property. That's more than just unknown broker A, B, C, and then broker D, Michael Wang. I don't know who he is either, but I saw some videos. He seems like all right guy. That gives you like a little edge up, right? So anyway, so we're talking about that. And so after social media, after listing stuff, then what is there? Because we're not done, right? You thought we were done, but you really want to do a good job in this business. We're not done. Commercial real estate. If a space is vacant, owners lose $10, $20, $30,000 a month, right, on vacancy. If you're hired to do a whole building and the building is vacant, they could lose $1 million a month because you haven't done your job fast enough. This is not a joke, you know. This is not, let me give this a shot. And that's why it's so hard to get listings. And that's why it's so hard to move the listings after as well. Like we're hard to do. I mean, this is like high intensity New York business finance type of work, right? It's not like just got my license and I'm gonna rent my friend's apartment. We're talking about commercial real estate where you get paid big dollars to move product. So hey Cindy, it snowed, so everyone's having those snowy New York days. So the next thing we're going to talk about, that's a huge long intro and segue to the next thing we're talking about. Next thing we're going to talk about is your own network, not social media. You got a CRM or you don't have a CRM, you better get one. You're not good with computers, I don't care. But you read stories about top brokers, like just with a pen and pad writing stuff down, and that's all they need. Good for them. That's not you, okay? And that's not how the modern world works, all right? If you could write stuff down with a pen and a pad, and in the next day call 10 of these people and move something, is because you really know what the freak you're doing. You know exactly the product you're moving. You have a relationship with all these 10. You have a relationship with 100 people, good ones. And then you pulled out the 10 that might buy this. And then you called them and they trust you and they take a look at it and you know you can move it. That's what they're doing. They're not just shooting out random 10 people in their head and like, oh, I move stuff, right? So you need a CRM. In the CRM, you add everyone you come into counter with. First, you got to learn how to use the CRM. It's not easy to use a CRM, by the way. It's not easy to use it. It's not easy to keep it clean. In like data processing, there's a term called like scrubbing contacts. Your contacts are missing information. The information's out of date, all that good stuff, right? But if you have your own database of, let's say you do a listing, right? Let's talk about residential, right? To make this easy for everyone. You sell a 2-family house. You do an open house, 30 people come. You know, you got the open house sheet. You call them back the next week. They say whatever. You put the sheets in your drawer, and then 2 weeks later, pull the sheets out again. You call again, and you sell the house, throw the sheets away, right? Okay. Instead of throwing those sheets away, you put it in your CRM, 30 people, who they are, what their phone numbers are, what they want, you know, all their information. Then you get another 2-family house, and you do it again. And you can call these people back. Maybe no one wants it, but you get another 30 people. And over time, you keep getting more and more and more and more and more and more people. And that CRM slowly builds up to, look, if you only have 10 listings, you still have like 300 people in your database. 10 listings, not 10 closings, right? You didn't even have to close. It could have been overpriced. Over time, you know, let's say you're closing like, I don't know, 3 deals a year. My internet connection is unstable. I'm gonna chill for a second until it comes back. Is it back? Am I moving? You see me? Okay, I don't see it move. Okay, cool. Sorry. So, let's say you're closing 3 deals a year. It's not working on Facebook. Sorry, give me a second. Just want to make sure these technical difficulties are resolved. Okay, now we're good. All right, cool. So if you close 3 deals a year and you're closing 1 out of every like 3 deals, let's say, which is a pretty high ratio, I would assume, then you do 9, right? You're basically doing like 10 listings. That's like 300 people in the database, right? So over time, this database can be really effective. And on your 11th listing, you email blast all these people. You might have 5 or 6 or 7 people looking for this thing and saying, oh, I like that. Can I schedule an appointment? And this is your own database clients. I can't express how important this is, because in the CRM, there's no weird ads telling me to sign up for 1,000 YouTube subscriptions. There's no weird people telling me, like, selling me stuff, right? It's just pure real estate leads for the product that you were previously listing, right? And, you know, one reason why Project Queens, you know, my own personal specialty is commercial leasing in Queens. And this is the reason why. I mean, this is one of the reasons why, but they all revolve around the same thing. Because I focus on a particular niche, all of my database is after that niche. When I get a new listing, boom, my database right now is like 3,000 people. I shoot it out and people respond. And on top of the social media, on top of all the listing stuff that we do online, on top of the street sign, then you have the CRM, right? And the CRM is actually like the brain of it all, where all those other things, anytime anyone inquires, gets sucked into the CRM. And next new listing, you have all this new social, new sign, new posts, and then new inquiries. And you aggregate it at the end of it all, it gets stuck into the CRM again. So the CRM just keeps growing, right? You don't want to waste all of that effort and all of that marketing and all of those good leads and just kind of crumple it up and throw it away because you wrote in an Excel file or a pad, right? So there goes the database marketing. You can email blast that. And what you really should be doing is IDing it. Like if you can filter your database, look, this stuff is hard. I can't even do it that well, but I can do it pretty freaking good now, right? And we go through our database, we ID our new property, and we pluck out who is like the right square footage, the right type of property, the right neighborhood, and you call them, right? And that's a lot of work. On top of everything we did, on top of the showings, on top of all that stuff, this is a lot of work. And just a side note, you know, I'm in a position now where I can outsource a lot of this stuff to my staff. I can push a lot of these potential pieces of the deal to other agents in the company because it's an opportunity for them to learn, and they make money, and I don't have to do it. And I can continue focusing on other things. To really do a job well on one listing, it takes a lot. But if you can do it, you will get results, and you can tell your next client what you did and what kind of results you're getting, and that's how you get more and more business. When the paychecks start coming in, it is 100% worth it. I guarantee you. I promise. I don't promise much because I can't. Because I don't know if you'll succeed. I don't know if you close a deal. But if you do everything right and work hard, and you actually start closing deals in commercial real estate, which may take a while, I mean, I could never go back. How am I gonna do any other job after I close commercial real estate deals? So, you know, that's a really awesome thing. Aside from those things, now that covers really kind of everything, and you could see how these things expand more and more. The other thing, there's like paid services to reach out to people. Some are more effective than others. At Project Queens, we use 2 of them. And every time I get a listing, it shoots out to like 3,000 people or 2,000 people. And it's like tailored. I don't know what their algorithm is or whatever it is. This is new age stuff. It shoots out to the right people. And then the right people call us back. And they heard about us from this mailing thing. And we're like, holy shit, this works. So marketing, particularly these days, is an ever evolving process. I'm always keeping my eye out for what's next, what's new, right? Some ideas that I have are like VR. My kid's little cousin got the Oculus 2, and I'm playing this like 3D game. It looks so real. And if you could just put it on and then just do a tour, I might put on my website, like link to the Oculus tour, and then you just put it on and you just start walking. Then I don't have to show, right? Like people could kind of just see what's going on. You know, that's something. All these new websites that might pop up, all this different stuff. If anyone listening to this knows of a different method of marketing that's new or old or whatever, if it's effective, let me know. Put a comment, because I would love to expand into more marketing, because that's what we're hired to do. I'm gonna finish with this and then do some questions, and there goes the hour, super quick again. I was gonna finish something I forgot. All right, so what I'm gonna finish with is this. Something really weird that Project Queens does that most other companies don't do, that are focused in commercial, is we have the MLS. The MLS requires every agent in the company to get it and pay for it. And a lot of commercial brokers do not like that at all. They're like, why the hell do I need this thing? Project Queens does it for 2 reasons. In Queens, there's tons of hybrid brokers, right? Most people in Flushing or in the parts of Queens that I operate in, they are not commercial brokers. They're residential brokers that once in a while have a deal. When you speak to them on the phone, they're insane. They have no idea what they're doing. They're super freaking annoying. But if they can close a deal, 1 pop at a time, let's do it. Of course, let's do it, right? So the MLS is a way for me to engage all these hybrid brokers that exist in Flushing and Bayside and in Ridgewood and in parts of Long Island City, Elmhurst, Corona, all that stuff, right? The other thing is there are tons of agents in these same hybrid agents, same hybrid brokers They want to learn commercial. They have nowhere to learn it. They can't go to a commercial firm. You need to have a resume interview. They don't hire anyone. All the resi firms, I have not encountered one residential firm, not even one, that knows what they're talking about in commercial real estate. Not the head broker, not their commercial division expert, not the big name people, not the small people. They have no idea what the fuck they are doing. And 100% of the time, 50 out of 50 stories so far from agents that joined, that got promised they're going to learn commercial stuff, they all tell me the same thing. They said this, they didn't teach me nothing, they don't know what they're talking about, they promised all this, it never came, blah, 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 blah. Project Queens, as of December 18th, 2020, we offer a 90-10 split. I'm putting it out there. 90-10 split to residential, to agents on the residential deals, right? That's a sick deal. That's a sick split because I'm not going to focus on it. I'm not going to give you much support on the residential. And the commercial split is 70-30. So you're able to come into Project Queens, do your deals, probably make more off your deals in your previous shop, maybe, unless you're at a 99 shop, but continue to do your residential while you're in a company that will teach you commercial. And how we teach commercial agents right now are through, like, the base level is a showing agent, where Project Queens right now has over 100,000 square feet of listings. You take on a listing. Project Queens gets the listing, gets all the information, makes all the marketing that I just said, the banner, the brochure, the posts, everything. You just go show. The CRM is in place, super organized, super detailed. You just go, open your phone. You have all the information on the property at your disposal. We prepare you for the showing. You go show, you talk about the property. That's it. You get a percentage of the deal, right? I'm giving listings away to give you a percentage of the deal so you can get your feet wet on the showing process, learn commercial real estate, and make money at the same time. There's no other better deal than that. There will never be a better deal than that, I'm pretty sure. So if you're interested in joining Project Queens, send a message. On the other side, there's going to be the opposite, which is the bringing the tenants around. Like I said in the CRM, every listing we have, which we have over 30 right now, has tons of calls all the time. More than half of these calls are direct. They're not with a broker. And a lot of these people, if the property doesn't work, they're serious. Like, we talk to them, we vet them, we make sure we have all the information, and we can teach you how to take these tenants around. In this current market, as of December 2020, it has now flipped from like a seller's to a buyer's market, right? So in leasing terms, it's like from a listing to a tenant's market. Taking these tenants to all these vacant spaces, the landlord's gonna look at you like, oh, amazing, like, come on, let's close the deal. I'll give them there's a way to close these deals. So in the same vein, you get the tenant, we give you all of the information you need to go service them, and you take them around. You learn commercial real estate, you make some money. At the same time, you got a good split on your resi. So anyway, that's that.